Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing for our British Touring Car and Support Championship on Project Cars 2. This is the second race of the special event out of 4. This is the Porsche Carrera Cup replica at Silverstone National. We are in the GT3 Porsche because that's as close as we can get to a cup car. As we are ready for the start, zooming in down the old start finish straight, down towards the first corner we go. Bidzster was on pole, but Footman gets a very good start into the first corner and leads the way. Footman leads the way ahead of Bidzster, and TY's trying to follow him. Everyone else through. We've got a bit of a separated patch, so there could have been a few incidents as someone looks like they're rejoining from the pit lane. As we go into the Maggots corner, Maggots and Beckett's. Down Beckett's we go. Bidzster resumes the lead from Footman because Footman goes quite wide there. Everyone else going through as we go down towards the Brooklands part of the circuit, the Priory. I'll get my corner names right in a minute. Down into Priory. TY goes at the inside of Footman, I think. There he goes. He's having a little stab at Footman for second place as we go through. As everyone through Luffield now. James Deluxe, there's Blakeney, there's Stevie and Keith behind as RZR Blake goes a bit wide. Will Stevie be able to get through? Knows the answer as everyone goes across the line. Already a lap done. 16 laps in this race, no messing about. Just under a minute a lap. Into the first corner we go. Footman right behind Bidzster. He's not letting him go in this one. Footman meaning business. He's back from injury. And when I mean injury, yes, I mean real life injury, not video game injury, but yeah, real life injury, and he's back. And he's able to use his wheel again, and he's back with us, and he's in second place, showing us all how it's done. TY looking to get away around though. Will he have a little dive up the inside into Priory? No is the answer. As we go into Priory, Neil Farmack trying to fend off James Deluxe. As James Deluxe goes sideways, this could be Blakeney's opportunity to get a place, but no is the answer. Very hard circuit to pass on. Got to really set up a move as Footman defends from TY again. So TY still can't find a way through, and Bidzster's running away with it. So he's got a second lead now as Bidzster. As we look further back, there's Keith with a little bit of a knock to his car, so he's been in some contact somewhere. That could have been that first corner skirmish, so we'll get a quick replay on that. Here we are now on board with Keith to find out how he got that damage to his car. So look back at RZR Blade and Stevie side by side. Stevie loses the back of the car, then we slightly tap RZR Blade in the side to try and avoid, and then that's where the damage came from. As we come back from that, RZR Blade in 7th place, Keith in 8th. Got to watch for people running too wide on the exit of the first corner because the steward will be looking at that. So we're going to be careful with that. Half a car over the curb is fine, but all 4 wheels over the white line and the curb and onto that AstroTurf is going to be a track limits penalty. So each, you're allowed to do it once, just in case it was a mistake, but if you do it more than once, then you will get penalised, and it is at least 2 seconds per penalty, depending on how much of advantage you gain. Minimum is 2 seconds, it could be anything up to 5 for a track limit penalty, so you've got to be careful in this race. As we go down towards the first corner, we look at Bidzster going through. There he goes, and he doesn't run too wide at all. As we look at Footman and TY, they're all clean through there as well, so everyone behaving themselves. As we look back at Keith, there he is, and then we've got Team Yellow at the back. Callum's at the back, and Blakeney's got major damage on his car. So Blakeney's had a really big error somewhere. We'll get a replay on that. Here's a replay of what happened to Blakeney in order for him to get all that damage to his car. So into Maggots and Beckett's, and then gets the power on, and then drifts round and just keeps going round, and then hits the wall on the other side, which he shouldn't even be anywhere near on this circuit. And then it just teleports him back onto the track, and then there's the damage with the bonnet, and that's going to impede his vision. As we go back to the battle for second place, Footman's got TY all over the back of him. He's defending in the inside, down towards Priory, right on the inside. Will TY try and carry the speed around the outside to get the inside for Luffield? He's going to give it a go, but there's no way through. Footman covers it off well. Footman doing the race of his life so far. Good job by Footman there, but Neil Farmack's lurking in the background in that green Porsche. Lovely sound of that flat 6 engine in these Porsches as we cross the line. Bidzster in the lead then, Footman second, TY third, Neil fourth. All could change with one little mistake. As Footman goes wide there, got to be careful of those track limits, boys. As we go down towards Maggots, which is the quick kink left here, into Beckett's. As Footman goes wide again, TY closes up. He's going to lose speed onto the straight as Footman here. TY's right behind him. As we go under the Silverstone Bridge, down towards Priory. Into Priory we go. Footman's on the inside, but TY's trying to go around the outside now. Footman's still trying to cover it off. TY is up the inside. Footman slagging his way in front of TY. He's going to try to use the whole length of the side of that Porsche to keep TY back, but it can't be done. TY goes ahead after Footman makes that error, and Neil Farmack now will be right behind Footman as we go down towards Copse Corner. Good job there by Neil. He's having a little look up the inside of Footman. I don't think there was contact there, but goes through. Footman edged out there by Neil. Good move there by Neil Farmack. I don't think there was contact. It was quite a fair move. If Neil hits someone, he usually let them back through. So good job there by Neil. And we go onto the back straight. Look at the lead that Bidzster's got. That blue car down there in the distance. It was already on the brakes for Priory and going through it. As we go into Priory now. We've got a couple of cars close in the background. I think that's Keith and Arzadar Blade are side by side coming down towards Priory now. Arzadar Blade makes a mistake. Keith gets alongside. Arzadar Blade goes wide there. Keith's up the inside to go through as Arzadar Blade is in the squeeze. No, you do not. And Keith goes wide. He says, don't worry, mate. I'll just bide my time. I'll find a way through. Keith in 7th place in this one, doing a good job. Footman doing a lot better than he did in the Sierra race, even though he's in 4th place still, even though he's lost a place to Neil and TY, still up there with the pace. Good job by Footman. James Deluxe is lurking in 5th place also in that red Porsche. There he is. So James Deluxe ready to pick up any pieces of the 2nd place to 4th place battle. So anyone makes a mistake and they will be caught and passed by James Deluxe and possibly even Arzadar Blade and Keith, because they're still close and they're still side by side. Keith's up the inside of Arzadar Blade down onto the National Straight. They are still completely side by side as Callum and Blakeney still battling it out further back. Stevie's back in 10th place, so Stevie's had a major moment somewhere. Stevie not doing well in this race at all. Arzadar Blade goes very wide, almost practically, well, I think he's trying to make up a new track. He's going that wide. Round this corner, tight to the apex on the inside, not leaving a gap to get through at all. And onto the straight we go. Cleanly round goes Keith and Arzadar Blade in 6th and 7th positions respectively. We'll watch them through Copse and then we'll see if we can find anyone else on track who's close as we go into Copse Corner. Good job there by both the cars, both with an equal gap. As we look at Neil, who's still behind TY. Still a bit more spread out at the front now, but again that's to be expected in these Porsches, and it's the nature of the Silverstone National Track which is more of a factor. So this Silverstone National Track doesn't necessarily provide the best of racing, but it is still a good track nonetheless. As Arzadar Blade now coming down towards Priory with Keith behind him. Again, runs a bit wide, but not as wide as he has done, so a bit more better around the apex that time for Arzadar Blade. Goes a bit wider into this corner, cuts it back in for the apex. Beautiful lines there by Arzadar Blade as Keith shows you what not to do and goes wide on the exit. That's going to lose him a hell of a lot of time as he goes and puts the power down, because he has to wait to get the car straight before he can put the throttle to maximum, and then Arzadar Blade pulls away and you can see the gap there that's been made. Arzadar Blade goes through there and there's Keith going through that same shot there, so he's lost a good second there to Arzadar Blade in making that little error with the throttle. As we go back to the 2nd place battle, as we've got TY and Neil side by side. Neil's ahead of TY. Neil's got TY there. We didn't know how that got set up, but we can see the outcome. Neil is ahead in the 2nd place. Good job there by Neil. We'll just get a quick replay on what happened. Here we are on board with Neil to see how he got past TY. So watch TY's car. Goes out the corner, and a little bit of a twitch, a slide has to lift off the power, and that's all the invitation Neil needs to just go straight through and take 2nd place. So as we come back from that, Neil takes 2nd place, then Neil takes 2nd place. TY goes down to 3rd place, with James Deluxe looking hungry for more in 4th place, and he's got past Footman, so Footman back down to 5th now. It was a very good start from Footman, but he just seems to be falling off a bit now. Just lost that. He had good initial pace, but keeping it up throughout the duration of the distance just seems to be a bit of an issue. But still racing hard, racing well, and using a lot of the track. So we've got to be careful with that. Don't want to use too much of the track limits as Keith goes through in 7th place. very neatly through there. As we look at Stevie, who's not having a good race in this one, back to 10th, struggling with this Porsche. Not his cup of tea, I don't think, but hopefully he'll come fighting back in the next one, which is Upton Park International in the BMW M3. So we'll see what he's like in that one. As we go back to James Deluxe, who's still on TY. TY runs wide, James Deluxe goes up the inside. I think TY made a mistake of his own there. TY runs really wide, James Deluxe goes up the inside, and he's got the move done even before he gets to Cox Corner, gets it done around Woodcut. So well done there to James Deluxe into 3rd place on the podium. And TY now got to try and stay with him and fight back as he goes tiny bit wide there. But that's allowed, just half a car over the curb. As we go into Maggots, and then a quick Beckett's right-hander. Out of it, on to the National Straight. Neil Farmack in 2nd place, pulling away from James Deluxe slightly there. Bidzster already 6 seconds up the road, so Bidzster doing exactly what he needs to do in these double points races. Qualify on pole and get away. Try and get as far away as you can before they start closing up on you, as Callum and Blakeney still having a good battle for Team Yellow in the background. So Callum and Blakeney definitely still struggling for outright pace, but both cars seem to be doing quite well in this. Even though they are 9th and 8th, they're still lapping consistently with each other. So good for Team Yellow, but hopefully they'll be a bit higher up in the next few races to get a few more points on the board for Team Yellow. Because remember, it's not just about the Drivers' Championship in LPB Racing now, we have the Teams' Championship as well for both Project Cars and GT Sport. So that's one to watch out for as well. As we go through Cox Corner, as Neil Farmack goes through there, James Deluxe looks like he's closing on Neil now. James Deluxe definitely on the move here, and TY falling back into the hands of Footman. So a couple of battles that could open up in the next couple of laps as we go through here. Oh, Neil goes very wide out of Priory and then sets himself up for quite a bad line through Luffield, but luckily he's not lost too much time. So he's probably lost a couple of tenths, but then James Deluxe has a bit of a twitch out the corner and loses a couple of tenths as well. So both very evenly matched there. As we look at Bidzster, the leader, through Cox Corner, up to Maggots, and to Beckett's, onto the brakes. Good lines through there from Bidzster, controlling the race at the front, pulling away. As we look at Footman and TY very close together. Footman having a look to get past TY here. TY definitely struggling for pace. Footman goes around the outside to get the inside for Maggots, and sorry, for Beckett's, and TY tries to keep the speed around the outside, but puts the wheels up on the curb, but that's going to lose him traction. And not able to get back through, as I think they're more or less side by side, but no, they're not quite close enough. Couldn't quite see from that camera angle. As Footman goes through and he's lost it! No! Footman's lost the back end. Footman goes wide onto the marbles, slides the car sideways, and he'll have 50 pence piece tyres now. So Footman rejoined in 5th place after that slide, so TY back through into 4th. So just a little mistake there, just probably kept the... More than likely what had happened there is you just kept hold of the brake a little bit as you went into the corner, feather braked a bit too fast into the corner, and the rear end just went, nope, I've had enough, and then the rear end just goes round on him, and then he luckily recovered it quite well. So Arzadar Blade now, he's ditched Keith, he's on his way to catch up to Footman. There he is in the green car, and you'll see as the camera pans out here, you'll see Footman ahead. Oh, there he goes, onto the grass again. So Footman really having handling problems in that Porsche now, so I wonder if he's overheated his tyres, which I would imagine he has with that slide, so he's got to just try and spend a lap or two to cool them down, but I don't think he's got a lap or two to cool them down, because it's lap 14 out of 16, so 2 laps remaining in this race then once they cross the line this time. Bidzster's already on that penultimate lap of the race, as Arzadar Blade closes up to the back of Footman. So this could be a good little battle to watch, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay with it as they go across the line. Arzadar Blade is within drafting range now of Footman. He'll be closing up, a couple of tenths on each straight, and in fact he's close enough to have a stab at him now. Into Cox Corner we go, and out of it. Both cars keeping within the track limits, which is good to see. A lot of people behaving with the track limits this season, which is good, as we go up towards Maggots and Beckett's. Beckett's is the right-hander here, through over there as Arzadar Blade catches the curb on the inside. That's going to lose him speed onto the straight. Don't want to do that next time round if he gets a chance. because you've got to really use that run out of the corner to get close to the car in front and then make your move into the next corner. You've got to set yourself up at Silverstone. Meanwhile, James Deluxe is right on the back of Neil Farmack as we start the last lap of the race. Bidzster ahead is 9 seconds up the road, but the battle for second is on. Neil Farmack into Copse Corner. The crowd cheer as we go into Copse Corner on the last lap. Neil Farmack pulls ahead of James Deluxe there, gets a really good line through that corner, and no way through for James Deluxe yet. Into Maggots and Beckett's we go for the last time. Neil Farmack still ahead, gets a good run out of the corner, and James Deluxe gets a good run as well, but he's going to be drafting in, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move unless he's going to go for an absolute corker of a move. But into Priory we go for the last time. James Deluxe has got to try something on the brakes to close up. He's closing, but no way through. Neil Farmack needs to defend the inside now, and he's got it. Meanwhile, Bidzster crosses the line to win the race. Bidzster wins the race. Good win there for Bidzster. Bidzster wins the race as Neil comes across the line in second place ahead of James Deluxe. Well fended off. James Deluxe, good podium there for him. He'll be happy with that for Team Red. Arsadar Blade's going to come through in 4th position, and Keith's going to be 5th because Footman's gone backwards on this last lap. Footman's gone back to 6th as Arsadar Blade crossed the line in 4th. Keith's going to be 5th, and Arsadar Blade is going to, Footman there is going to finish in 6th place. So Footman goes backwards on that last lap. There's Callum, and there's TY as well. So TY goes completely backwards on the last lap as well. Just going to stop it there because we're running out of time on the replay. Blaney finishes in 9th and Stevie will be 10th, but we'll just quickly fit in those replays. Here's the replay of what happened to TY in the last lap. So it comes into Maggots and then Beckett's. Round Beckett's we go, then just catches the inside curb, gets the power on and goes right round, and there's a tyre wall there. Now he's got to turn it round on the grass. Gets the car turned around, tries to find first gear, and then doesn't want to wheel spin it too much on the grass. There goes Callum, and then TY goes right back down to 8th place. And also on the last lap, this happened between Keith and Footman, so Keith comes in to defend on Footman. Footman outbrakes himself, hits the back of Keith, but then Sportingly lets him go anyway, and Keith finishes in 5th, Footman 6th. So as we come back from that then, there's your winner, Bidzster. The blue car there, Bidzster is your winner in this race. We'll just get those points in for you now. Okay guys, let's get those results in for you then. So Bidzster was the winner in that one by 10 seconds from Neil Farmack in 2nd place. James Deluxe finishes in 3rd. Arsadar Blade finishes in 4th. Keith finishes 5th. Footman in 6th position. Callum in 7th. TY falls back to 8th on the last lap of the race. Blakeney finishes in 9th and Stevie finishes in 10th position. So, as we come back from those standings then, there's your winner, Bidzster. He's the winner of this race, and we'll see you guys for race 3. Take care.